All right, welcome everyone. We are going to get started here. Welcome to the AI Authority Blueprint. My name is Carl Willis. I am the CEO at Agent Branding and Marketing, and we're going to be looking at 7 moves that, as an insurance agent, you need to be making today to stay visible in Google's new search algorithms and their shift to agentic search. So we're going to be talking about the major shift in how agencies are going to be found, evaluated, and recommended. And we call this the AI Authority Blueprint. And so today's topic is going to be very practical. There's going to be some things you're going to want to screenshot. We're not going to chase trends or talk about theory. We really want to help you understand what is changing, why it matters to your agency, to your book of business. And we want to help you build your business so that it is easier for Google to find you, for the AI platforms to find you, and also for your prospects to find you and to understand and trust you and make it easier for business to come to your doorstep. So let's dive in and we'll be rocking and rolling here. So, what I want you to understand is Google did not kill search, but it is rebuilding search around decisions. And so, for years, agents have measured success through rankings, keywords, clicks, and map pack placement. And those things do still matter, but they are not the whole game anymore. And what you need to understand is that Google is now using AI to assemble answers, to interpret intent, to evaluate trust, and to understand content, read reviews, to analyze video, and then recommend businesses, and then do all of that before your prospect ever picks up the phone or ever fills out a form to connect with you. And so the question is no longer do we rank? The more strategic question is does Google understand, trust, and recommend our agency? And so that is the mindset shift that I want you to adopt for our session today. That's going to really be the driver of our conversation. And so I want to take you where we've been over the last couple of months and then where we're going to be going today. So in April, we explained the shift in how Google is processing search. In May, we talked about the rise of AI agents in search. And then the third week of May, I recorded a video on Google's confirmation of that direction as they presented their rollouts of their new platform initiatives at Google I/O 2026. And then today's webinar is the practical implementation of that plan. And so those conversations explain the direction. Today, we're going to talk about what to do next because insurance agents don't need more disconnected tactics. What you need is a system for building authority across the channels that influence visibility and trust. And so that includes content, video, reviews, your Google business profile, your website structure, your paid ads, your tracking, and then your consistency across your entire digital footprint. So, really, what we have to do today is answer the big question: what do you, as an insurance agent, need to do next? And that's really what our focus is. And that's what these 7 steps that we're going to talk about today are all about. So there's a big shift that has taken place. And there's the old model of search, and then there is the new search model. And I want to break this down for you. So the old search model was linear. A prospect typed a keyword, Google showed a list of results, your prospect clicked around, they did their research, and then they chose who they were going to contact. Well, the new model is different. A prospect asks a more detailed question. Google interprets the intent of that question and the context, and then AI assembles an answer. It evaluates businesses that it trusts and it narrows the options. And it may present a much shorter list. So instead of 10 blue links, it may present two, possibly three options. And that means the agency either appears in the recommendation environment or it disappears from consideration altogether before the conversation ever takes place. And that's why authority becomes so critical at this period in time. And so here's the quiet risk that nobody is really talking about, and most agents don't understand. The risk for agencies out here is that it's not an immediate collapse. It's not that they're going to disappear overnight. It's that they are going to fade. It is a slow invisibility. You may still get calls. You may still get referrals. You may still get some activity, but over time, the impressions decline, the map views decline, the lead quality starts to drop off, and prospects start trusting competitors earlier in the journey. And so what happens is you just begin to fade. And so it happens quietly enough that an agent may blame the market or the carrier or the economy or lead quality when the real issue is their digital authority is eroding out from underneath them. And so the goal here is to address that before the pipeline begins to feel it. Because the danger isn't a sudden collapse, it's a slow invisibility, it's a slow erosion of the infrastructure underneath your feet. And so here's why this is so important right now. Because Google's recent announcement confirmed several major changes. Number one, search is becoming more conversational. AI overviews and AI mode are changing how prospects consume their answers. Google is using richer intent and context signals. They are using video and reviews and structured data and business consistency to make decisions. AI agents are beginning to act on behalf of users. And you are finding that these things like video and reviews and structured data and digital consistency are mattering more and more. And then paid search is moving towards AI assisted intent matching. So Google is no longer just ranking information, but it is actually helping people make their decisions. And so what is happening is that insurance agents need to build a digital ecosystem that is supporting that decision-making process. And so authority is now the new visibility. For years, what happened was agents would chase the visible metrics, the keywords, the rankings, the placement in the map pack, the click volume, or the lead count. And while those metrics still have some value, they are now incomplete because Google now needs a much broader picture. Who are you? What policies do you offer? Where do you serve clients? Are your claims verified by your reviews, your content, and your third party consistency? Do you demonstrate real expertise in the field, and can AI understand your agency as a credible local authority and entity? Because authority really is the layer that connects all of these signals together. Visibility now comes from being clear, from being consistent, and trusted across your entire ecosystem. And so you really have to ask what proof supports your authority. Let me put it to you this way. This is the core principle here. You are no longer just optimizing for search engines. You are training Google's understanding of your business. Let me say that to you again. You are no longer optimizing for search engines, but you are training Google's understanding of your business. Every page, every review, every video, every social profile, every directory listing, Google is looking at to get a better understanding of your business. Every Google business profile update, every client story, every policy explanation is either strengthening or it's weakening that understanding. And so authority is not just one asset. It is the accumulation of consistent proof. And that's why strategy-driven ecosystem matters more than isolated marketing activity. So every signal needs to reinforce the same business identity and the same trust story all the way through. So here's the AI authority blueprint, and these are the 7 pieces that we're going to be talking about. You may want to screenshot this really quickly. There are 7 components. We're going to break each one of these down one by one. So let's start with the first one. There's 7 moves that we're going to be walking through. The first is rebuild content around prospect decisions, not just keywords. The second one is we're going to turn video into an authority asset. The third is we're going to make reviews more specific and AI readable. The fourth is we'll create entity consistency across your digital footprint. Fifth, we'll prepare your website for AI agents and human visitors alike. Sixth is updating page search around intent, context, and AI-driven campaigns. And then seventh is to install a 90-day authority build plan. And the sequence matters because authority is a system. It's not just a single channel. So let's go ahead and start with this first one here. Rebuilding content around prospect decisions, not just keywords. And so this is the first move you need to make. And that is moving away from keyword driven marketing to prospect decision marketing. Because insurance buyers don't make decisions in neat little keyword phrases. They make decisions through fear, confusion, urgency, price pressure, family responsibility, renewal frustration, coverage uncertainty, and trust concerns. And so if your content is only targeting phrases like insurance agent near me, you may describe the service, but you are not guiding the decision. AI search rewards content that answers the deeper question behind the search. And that is where insurance agents can separate themselves from generic competitors. So let's dig into that a little further. See, the old content model is service label content. It focuses on terms like auto insurance agent, home insurance quote, Medicare agent near me, life insurance policy, business insurance, or insurance agent in a specific city. Those pages are still useful, but they usually stop at just naming the product. They don't answer why a prospect is anxious, what they are comparing, or what mistakes to avoid, or how to make a better decision. And in the AI search environment, content that only labels services is too thin to really build actual authority. Because again, the prospect is making decisions through fear, through uncertainty, through comparison, timing, budget, pressure, family needs, lifestyle goals, and trust concerns. And so if your content is only targeting keywords, you are missing the way that people actually decide. Because people make buying decisions with emotion first, and then they back it up with logic. So when we talk about this old versus new content model, we have to follow the prospect's decision path. So think about the questions people are actually asking before they trust an agent. They're asking questions like, should I bundle home and auto? Why did my premium increase this year? What coverage do I actually need? How do I compare Medicare options without getting overwhelmed? Do I need life insurance now? What should I know before I switch carriers? What happens to my rate after a claim? Is my coverage keeping up with my home's value? When should I review my life insurance? These questions reflect how real prospects think, and this is the content that mirrors their thought process. And it's going to help prospects feel understood, and it's going to give Google more confidence that your agency can guide a real decision process. Now, here's why decision path content really matters. Because keyword content tells Google that you sell. Decision path content tells Google whether you can help someone make a thoughtful choice. And that distinction is critical. Prospects are not simply looking for a policy, they're looking for confidence, clarity, protection, and someone they can trust. They're not just looking for an agent, they're looking for peace of mind in that decision. They want to know whether you'll explain the options, you'll help them avoid mistakes, respond when it matters, and protect their family or their business. So your content needs to answer those trust questions before they ever place a phone call. And that's how your authority starts forming before the sales conversation ever begins. They want to know, can I trust this company or this agent or this agency? Will they help me make the right decision? Do they understand what I'm facing? And your content has to answer all of those questions. So here's a practical move for you. Create a list of the top 25 questions prospects ask you before they ever hire you, and turn those questions into content. Blog posts, FAQ sections on your service pages, short form videos, Google business profile posts, but don't start with keywords. Start with the prospect's decision. Use these in multiple places. Repurpose those questions over and over and over again. Because once you understand the decision that the prospect is trying to make, you can optimize the content around search intent without losing the human value in that content. Now, let me give you some examples of decision path content topics. So let's take home and auto, for example. Why are my home and auto rates going up? Should I bundle or keep policies separate? What happens to my rate after a claim? For Medicare and life, when should I review my Medicare plan? What changes at 65 that most people don't expect? How do I know if I have enough life insurance? Agency value topics. Why work with an independent agent versus a direct agent? How do you help me when I have a claim? What does it cost to work with your agency? All of these are examples that you could use in decision path content pieces. You want to answer questions about things like bundling, deductibles, claims, renewal reviews, umbrella coverage. If you're a Medicare agent, talk about enrollment windows, plan comparisons, prescription coverage, provider networks, and common mistakes that people make. For life insurance, answer questions about term versus whole life, family milestones, mortgage protection, how much coverage is enough. See, the key is to build content around the questions that create hesitation, that create resistance. And when you reduce hesitation, you build trust. Don't miss out on this. The agent who answers the question before the sales call earns trust before the sales call. You're reducing resistance. This is the real value of decision path content. It doesn't just help with search visibility. It improves the quality of the conversation once that prospect reaches out. They come in more educated, more comfortable, and more likely to see you as an advisor rather than just another quoting option. And that is how content becomes part of your sales process, not just a marketing exercise. It lowers sales resistance. Here's move number 2. You want to turn video into an authority asset. And this is a big one because video is no longer optional for agencies that want to build trust in the AI search era. Now, let me explain this. One of the things that Google discussed at I/O 2026 is YouTube is now a data layer for their AI engine. What that means is their AI is using YouTube video as a training source for their large language model. One of the new features that they rolled out on YouTube is a feature called Ask YouTube, where anyone watching YouTube can ask questions or YouTube videos to answer. They've also included another data layer called Ask Maps. And Ask Maps is another feature that they are including as a data layer. And so when you see those features, those are data layer features. And data layer features are just another way that Google is creating more data that they can train their large language model with. And so you want to pay attention to what they're doing. So they are using video as a data layer. You want to lean into that. So here's what we want to do here. Video is not optional for agencies that want to build trust in the AI era. We already know that AI is looking, do you have video that's showing your expertise and authority? And so that doesn't mean that you need to be an influencer or you need to chase trends, but it does mean that video is one of the strongest ways for you to demonstrate real expertise. to show that you're a real person, that you have a real process, and that you are somebody that they can really trust. See, insurance is personal, and prospects want to know who they're dealing with. Remember, people like to do business with those that they know, like, and trust, and video is one of the fastest ways to cross that barrier. Video gives that prospect a sense before they ever walk into the office or schedule a call that they know, like, and trust you. It's a quick way to cross that bridge. So you want to turn video into an authority asset because video is no longer optional in the AI world. And here's the way we want to look at it. You don't have to have highly polished video. It doesn't have to be a brand commercial or a scripted testimonial or a big production or a social media trend. Those things have their place, but keep it real. Just be yourself. The real foundation is proof-based video. Prospects don't need perfection. They just need evidence that you know your stuff, that you know how to guide them. They need to see your personality, your explanations, your team, your process, and your approach to complex coverage questions. The biggest mistake you can make is waiting until the video is perfect and not producing anything at all. So just do it. Here's what agents get wrong so often about video. They just think everything has to be right, but here's what actually works best. Shoot it on your smartphone, do it right there in your office, talk through real situations, keep it short, 2 to 4 minutes per video at the maximum, and publish consistently, not perfectly. It could be a short explanation of why a premium changed, a walkthrough of what an annual review covers, a Medicare enrollment question, a claim preparation tip, a team introduction, a myth about life insurance, or a quick answer to a common coverage question. The goal isn't to entertain, the goal is to create authority. You are showing prospects that you understand their real concerns and that you can explain complicated insurance topics in plain language. And that's valuable to people, and it's readable by AI systems. AI systems can analyze video, they can pull transcripts, use video to your advantage. And here's why video builds authority. Because video shows what text alone cannot show. It shows your face, your tone, your confidence, your clarity, and your way of communicating. It helps prospects feel whether or not they can trust you. And Google and YouTube also are increasingly able to interpret video content, understand topics, and surface helpful answers. Remember, YouTube has just released Ask YouTube as one of the new functionalities. So video is supporting both human trust and machine understanding and learning. So for insurance agents, that is a powerful combination. You can demonstrate expertise while also creating content that is strengthening your agency's broader visibility signals for AI to pick up on. See, video creates a trust signal that a web page simply cannot replicate. You want to use that to your advantage. So here's a simple weekly video formula that you can follow, and I would encourage you to screenshot this as well. So it's a 5-part formula. So number one, start with the situation. What question, policy issue, or client scenario are we talking about? Number two, identify the problem. What challenge, concern, or decision came up for the client? Then third, the explanation. Walk through the issue and keep it clear and simple. What did they need to understand in plain language? Fourth, what was the solution? How did your team address it? What did you recommend and what guidance did you give and why did you give that guidance? And then finally, end with the takeaway. What should a prospect who's watching this video remember to do? What should they know? What should they come away with? This structure will keep your videos focused and practical, and it will also make it easier to repurpose that content into blog posts, emails, social media posts, and frequently asked question content. Here's some example topics that you might want to use. Why this Medicare review needed more than just a lower premium. What clients should know before changing home, auto, or umbrella coverage. Why two home and auto quotes can be dramatically different. How we protect a client during a major coverage transition. What happens during the first week of a new policy. How to prepare for a coverage consultation. What we found in a coverage review and why it mattered. Why cheap coverage can cost more after a claim. These are all topics that you may want to cover. Others might be, why did my auto premium increase? What should I review before renewing my home insurance? When does umbrella coverage make sense? What should first-time homeowners know about deductibles? What is the difference between Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement? How much life insurance does a young family actually need? You see, these aren't abstract marketing topics, they're real decision points, and each one can become a short video that builds authority and supports the prospect journey. So here's your practical action step for move number 2. Record one simple video each week. Keep it short, 2 to 4 minutes is enough. Use your smartphone, and what you'll find in many cases, even 1 minute is enough. Sit at your desk, stand in your office, just explain something useful from a real client situation. Use that video on YouTube, your Google business profile, your website, your social media, email follow-up, blog post, sales conversation. Just repurpose it. Turn that one video into multiple assets. Don't let it live in just one place. Repurpose it over and over again across your ecosystem. Polished content may look nice, but proof content builds trust. That's your takeaway. That's the key distinction. A polished video can support brand perception, but a useful video that answers a real question, that builds confidence in the mind of your prospect. Prospects don't choose an insurance agent only because the branding looks good. They choose the person or agency that feels clear, credible, responsive, and trustworthy. Remember, people do business with those they know, like, and trust. We make decisions first on emotion, and we support them with logic. So proof-based video helps establish that before that first appointment ever happens. It also gives Google and YouTube more evidence about what your agency knows and who it is that you serve. Our third move is to make reviews stronger and to make them more AI readable. And a 5-star rating is good, but I need you to understand something. A specific 5-star review is much more valuable. AI does not just need positive sentiment. It needs context. And What policy line was involved with that five-star review? What problem did the agency help solve with that five-star review? What city or market was involved with that five-star review? What made the experience valuable for that five-star review? You see, specific reviews help prospects understand what it's like to work with you, and they help Google better understand what your agency is actually known for. So make your reviews stronger and more AI readable because a five-star review is good, but a specific five-star review is better because AI doesn't just need the sentiment, it needs context. So a review that says great agency, highly recommend is positive, but it's thin. It supports your rating, but it doesn't tell Google or your prospect much information. It leaves them wanting more. It doesn't say what the policy line was. It doesn't tell what problems were solved or what the client was worried about or how your team helped or what outcome was created. A thin review is better than nothing, but it doesn't build much authority. And remember, authority is the name of the game. So the goal is not to manipulate the review. The goal is to encourage honest clients to be more specific about their experience. So let's talk about a weak review versus a strong review. So, for example, on the left here, a weak review, great company, highly recommend. Well, the review is positive in sentiment, but it's thin in specifics. It's missing policy type, location, outcome, and experience. On the right-hand side here, we've got a strong review. We worked with ABC Insurance for our home and auto review in Springfield. They helped us find better coverage, explained the options clearly, and followed up when promised. Our first major coverage decision was much less stressful than expected. You see, this review includes policy type, location, process, and outcome. This is the kind of review you want. It gives Google and prospects useful signals. It mentions policy type, location, communication, clarity, concern, and outcome. And that's the difference between a review that simply says they're good and a review that proves why the agency can actually be trusted. So here's what strong reviews are going to include. They're going to include policy type, location, problem solved, communication responsiveness, professionalism, trust, outcome, emotional relief, and sometimes specific team members. Those details matter because insurance decisions are rarely about the price. They're about confidence, they're about protection, and avoiding mistakes. And when reviews repeatedly mention that your agency explains clearly, follows up, helps during stressful moments, or simplifies complicated decisions, those reviews become authority signals. They support visibility, but they also improve conversion when prospects are comparing you against your competition. Now, here's an important guardrail. Don't fake reviews. Don't script fake reviews. Don't manipulate clients. Don't tell them what to say. Here's the key. Ask better questions. Say that again. Ask better questions. Better prompts are going to produce better reviews. Invite your clients to share what their situation was, what the experience was like, and what they would tell someone facing a similar decision. That will keep the review honest while encouraging specifics. The objective is authentic proof, not manufactured language. So create better prompts. The whole premise of garbage in, garbage out. You're asking for, would you leave us a review? You're not going to get the best reviews. But if you ask questions like, what policy or coverage area did we help you with? What was your situation before you came to us? What did you appreciate most about working with us? What would you tell another person considering a similar coverage review? You're going to get better review responses. And those prompts are going to help clients leave reviews that are much more useful to your future prospects, to Google's AI, or any other AI that is assessing you as part of a search query. And then send your review link to make it easy, to make it timely, and to make it specific. And you are going to help Google have a better understanding of your agency simply because you have provided better review prompts with your review request. Remember, generic reviews support your rating, but specific reviews build your authority. And that's the real takeaway here. Ratings help you look credible at a glance. Specific reviews help prospects understand why you are credible, and they help AI systems associate your agency with real services, real locations, and real client outcomes. If your competitors have reviews that are more specific, more recent, and more aligned with the policies you want to grow, they may be creating stronger trust signals than you are, and they are going to win the competition. Move number 4 is building entity consistency across your digital footprint. Google needs to clearly understand your agency as an entity. And that means your name, your location, your phone number, your service areas, your policy lines, your leadership, and your business description should be consistent anywhere your agency appears online. And so if Google sees confusion, it is going to create friction. And when it sees consistency, what it's going to create is confidence. And so this is not just a local SEO cleanup. This is all about your authority infrastructure. So the clearer that your entity signals are, the easier it is for AI systems to understand and recommend you. So Google has to clearly understand your business at a core level. There are some important questions that need to be addressed. What is the agency name? Where is it located? What areas does it serve? Which policy lines does it provide? Is it independent or is it captive? Who leads the agency? Does it specialize in home and auto, commercial, Medicare, life, or another segment? Are the claims supported across the website, on the Google business profile, on reviews, on social media profiles, and directories? If Google cannot confidently answer those questions in every location, your agency is creating unnecessary friction in the system. And if everything aligns across all of those locations, then it is creating confidence. Here are some common entity problems that are much more frequent than most agents realize. Old addresses, inconsistent phone numbers, outdated directory listings, weak Google business profile categories, social profiles that don't match the website, vague business descriptions, missing schema, unclear service area language, disconnected YouTube or social profiles. Every one of those things creates confusion. No author or leadership signals. And while those issues may seem small in and of themselves, together they weaken Google's confidence in your agency. And so the goal is to remove any ambiguity so that your digital footprint reinforces one clear business identity. Remember, consistency matters across the entire footprint. Your homepage, your policy line pages, your about page, your Google business profile, your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your directories, your review platforms, Chamber of Commerce pages, schema markup, business descriptions, service area pages. Every location is either reinforcing or weakening your authority. So the mistake is treating them as separate channels. They are not separate in the eyes of the search engine or the AI systems. They are evidence. And if the evidence is aligned, it builds trust. If it conflicts, it creates doubt. So we want to make sure that everything is in alignment. So here's action step number 4. Audit your digital footprint. Start with a simple audit. Is the agency name consistent? Is the phone number consistent? Is the address or service area consistent? Are the core policy lines described the same way? Do major platforms point back to the same business identity? If there's anything that is not identical across all platforms, then fix anything that creates confusion. This doesn't require a massive campaign to start. It just requires discipline. Clean up the foundation first, because every content, review, video, and ad effort is going to perform better when the underlying entity signals are clear and they are identical. Here's your takeaway. If Google has to guess who you are, where you work, or what you do, you have already created friction. And that friction matters because in a competitive local insurance market, the agency that is the easiest to understand and verify has an advantage. Entity consistency is not glamorous, but it is one of the core foundations of AI authority. And you are making it easier for Google AI agents, and prospects to connect the dots and trust the same story they encounter with your agency. And by doing so, you're going to make it easier to be recommended by Google, by those AI agents, and anyone else that is looking for you to be the answer to that query. Move number 5, prepare your website for AI agents, not just human visitors. This is big. This is what started this train rolling in our webinar in April. Google came out and said, we are moving search towards an agent management system. Search is going to be agentic. We are going to start managing agents that are going to do the search process. You're going to see Google's new Chrome browser that they are rolling out has Google's agent called Spark built into it, and it will start doing agentic processes on your behalf. So move number 5 is preparing your website for AI agents, not just human visitors, because the next visitor to your website may not be the prospect themselves. It may be an AI agent that is evaluating your agency on behalf of the prospect. And so that changes how the website needs to work. Pretty is no longer enough. Clear wins, structured wins, specific wins, helpful wins, Your site has to make it easy to understand who you serve, what you offer, where you operate, why you're credible, and what someone should do next when they're on your website. So, an AI agent needs to quickly determine fit. Does this agency serve the prospect's area? Do they offer the policy line needed? Are they credible? Do they show reviews and trust signals? Do they explain their process? Are they a legitimate local agency? Are they a good fit for the prospect's situation? If your website buries that information or uses generic language, you make the evaluation harder. So a strong website will answer these questions clearly, consistently, and in a language that both people and machines can interpret. And so it is important that you prepare your website for both human interaction and AI agent interaction. It's got to be able to accommodate both. So here's what your website should answer for both the prospect and the AI agent. An AI agent would naturally be asking, do they serve this area? What coverage types do they offer? Are they established and trusted? Do they have proof of their work? What do other clients say? For a prospect, who do you serve? What can you help me with? Why should I trust you? What's the next step? How do I contact you? So you've got to structure your website for both the human visitor and the AI agent visitor. A website that can answer both these questions and has layers of data for both visitors is going to be the most successful. A website that avoids structuring for both types of visitors is going to be ignored in the search. And so we've got to structure in such a way that you remain visible for both. So here are the website assets that insurance agents need to have in place. Clear coverage line landing pages, process pages, reviews and testimonials on key pages, market area and service area pages, structured data and schema markup, clear contact options, phone and form, FAQ sections on each service page, video embeds, YouTube, not hosted, strong calls to action on every page. Needs to be a fast, mobile friendly experience. And if you have financing or payment information, that needs to be there as well. All of these need to have clear paths. It should make the agency easier to understand. If you want more clients for whatever your line of service is, you need to explain the process and answer the questions that come with that process. Reduce confusion, make it easy to understand for both the person or the AI agent, either way. Here's a common website failure. Many insurance agency websites look good, but they say very little. They are brochures, but they are not authority assets. Now, let me explain this. They function in that brochure form, but not as a decision-making tool because they use generic statements like we care about our clients or we provide great service, but they don't explain how the agency helps people make better decisions. And that's a problem in AI search because thin content gives Google less to understand and prospects less to trust. So the website should not just exist, it should actively educate, qualify, reassure, and convert. So what you want to do is pick your top 3 policy lines and strengthen those pages first. Each page should include who the policy is for, common risks or decisions, what affects pricing, questions the prospect should ask, mistakes to avoid your process, frequently asked questions, reviews or proof, and a clear call to action. So don't try to fix every page at once, but start where growth is going to matter most, your biggest drivers of business. If your most valuable opportunities are home and auto bundles, or Medicare, or commercial, or life, build your authority there first. That's going to be your starting point. Here's your key takeaway. Your website should not just impress people, it should remove doubt. That's the standard. A beautiful website does not answer real questions, is still a weak website. A clear, structured, helpful website is going to create confidence before the conversation begins, and it's going to give AI systems stronger information to work with. So when someone is comparing agents, the agency that explains clearly and proves credibility usually is going to have an advantage over the agency that simply says, contact us for a quote. So you want to build depth to that website. Here's move number 6. Update your page search for intent, context, and AI-driven campaigns. Google is really modifying their page search methodology. So move 6 is all about changing the way we approach paid search campaigns. Because in the past, what we focused on was manual keyword micromanagement, and that is losing power because Google is leaning heavily into AI assisted matching and automated campaigns that use richer intent signaling. So that doesn't mean that strategy no longer matters, but what it does mean is that the control points are changing. And so the agencies that win with paid search are going to be the ones that feed the system better inputs. And so you want to have better inputs. You're also going to want to track better outcomes. And you want to align your campaigns with real business priorities, not just vanity metrics. So let's talk about paid search, the old versus the new control points. So old paid search models focused heavily on exact keywords, manual bids, basic text ads, simple landing pages, surface level conversion tracking, cost per lead, click-through rates, and impression shares. And while those are still relevant, they are no longer enough. So a campaign could generate leads and still fail the business if those leads are low quality, they are outside of the uh, desired target, poorly tracked, disconnected from sales outcomes. All of those things can affect. So in the AI-driven ad environment, shallow campaign management is going to create very shallow results. And so the new control points are more in line with creative inputs being high quality, being more broad, more strategic, having strong landing pages, clear conversion actions, accurate business data and feedback loops, audience signals, location targeting, policy clarity, offer clarity, negative keyword discipline, budget control, lead quality tracking, offline conversion feedback, call tracking, CRM data, and creative testing. And so it's a deeper way to manage paid search. You're no longer just buying clicks, you're training the ad platform to understand what is a valuable opportunity to you as the agent or the agency owner. What does a valuable opportunity look like for your agency? And so it's a different way of approaching paid search. And so here's the real warning for you as an agent. AI-driven ad platforms can spend money very efficiently. They can also waste money very efficiently. And so the difference is the quality of the inputs and the discipline of the strategy. So if you give the system vague goals, weak landing pages, unclear offers, and poor tracking with no feedback on your lead quality, you should not expect strong outcomes because AI is going to magnify what you feed it. Garbage in, garbage out. And that is why paid search cannot be treated as a set it and forget it vendor task. It needs strategic ownership. That is critical. Bad inputs are going to create bad outcomes. So here's what you need to audit in your paid campaigns. You need to ask these questions. Are we tracking qualified leads or form fills? Are calls being reviewed? Are booked appointments and bound policies being fed back into the system? Are we creating a data loop? Are landing pages aligned with prospect intent? Are campaigns organized around policy priority and agency capacity? Are we measuring lead quality, not just lead quantity? This is a big one. Do we know which leads became real revenue? These questions are going to move the conversation from marketing activity to actual business performance. So stop measuring paid search only by lead volume. And this is a huge mistake that we see so many agents making. More leads does not automatically mean better marketing. So you have to start measuring qualified leads, booked appointments, sales opportunities, policy line, close rate, cost per qualified opportunity, cost per bound policy, return on ad spend, and revenue by campaign source. This is where marketing and agency operations have to connect. They can't be separated. If the campaign generates calls, but the calls are not converting, that's not just a traffic issue. That's a system issue, and that has to be looked at deeply. So AI does not eliminate marketing strategy. It just punishes lazy strategy faster. You might want to take a picture of that. AI doesn't eliminate marketing strategy. It punishes lazy strategy faster. That is the line to remember. Automation can be extremely powerful, but only when the strategy, the data, the assets, the tracking, and the accountability are strong. If those are weak, AI is simply going to accelerate waste. And for you as an insurance agent, the future of paid search is not less strategic, it is more strategic because the agency has to define the right goals, provide the right signals, and evaluate the right outcomes. And here's move number 7. This is our final move, and that's to install a 90-day AI authority build plan. And I want to break this down for you in steps. A 90-day authority build plan. You don't need random marketing activity. What you need is a structured build plan because authority is not built by one campaign or random marketing activity or one blog post or one video or one review. It's built through consistent proof over time. And that's why at Agent Branding and Marketing, we always think in terms of an ecosystem. That's why we talk in terms of an ecosystem. The goal is not doing more things. The goal is to build the right things in the right sequence so that visibility and trust and conversion improve together. And so here's the framework for you over the next 90 days. In the first 30 days, you want to repair the foundation. You want to audit your foundation. Review your website clarity, your Google business profile, your business information consistency. Look at your policy line pages, your calls to action, your tracking content. Are there any gaps there? Look at your competitors, your business descriptions, and review your process. Are you asking for those reviews? Are you prompting the right things when you ask for those reviews? The goal is in these first 30 days to make it easier for Google to understand your agency, to make it easier for the AI systems to understand your agency, to make it easier for prospects to understand your agency. This is not sexy work, it's not flashy work, but it is critical foundation work. Fix the website clarity, the Google business profile completeness, the business info completeness, coverage line pages, all of your tracking, your top content gaps, reviewing your competitors, and then auditing your review process. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous, but it's foundational. And by getting your foundation solid, what's going to happen is you're going to make every other campaign and everything else we build on top of that more effective. Because if your foundation's weak, every other campaign is going to be more expensive and every other visibility effort is going to be less effective. Now, your second 30 days is going to be where you build your authority assets, where you create your decision path content, where you record your weekly videos, where you add your frequently asked questions to your priority pages, your coverage pages, where you improve your review requests, where you add your proof to your key pages, where you publish your Google business profile updates, and you do that on a weekly basis, where you add your YouTube content, where you add your internal linking, where you add your schema data where appropriate, where you build up the infrastructure, if you will, that builds your authority. And what you're going to do here is you're going to give Google and your prospects more proof that your agency is a credible local authority. And this is where the ecosystem starts to compound because each asset is supporting multiple channels. And then finally, in your final 30 days, is where you're going to expand and measure. And you're going to track your visibility changes. You're going to track your calls and your form fills. You're going to track your qualified appointments. You're going to review your Google Business Profile insights and your Google Search Console data. You're going to look at your paid ad campaign quality. You'll review your top performing content to see where your trends are. And then you'll build your next 90-day content plan. And the goal here is to strengthen your weak market areas and to move from random marketing activity to a repeatable authority building system, because that's what you're building is a system. And this is how you shift from guessing to operating with strategic clarity. You have built a machine at this point that you can rinse and repeat. So, what you want to be measuring beyond your rankings. Rankings do matter, but they're not the whole picture. You want to track your Google Business Profile actions, the phone calls, the form fills, qualified leads, booked appointments, policy type, review volume, review quality, content engagement, your video views, search console impressions, your pages that are gaining visibility, your paid search lead quality, cost per qualified opportunity, and closed revenue by source. You also want to look at AI citations. How many times is AI surfacing you as an answer? Because visibility is only valuable if it's creating business opportunity. So the goal here is not attention for its own sake, but predictable growth. What is moving the needle for your agency? Because remember, authority is not built by one campaign, it's built by consistent proof over time. And that's the heart of this blueprint. A single ad campaign could create some activity. A single blog can answer a question. A single review can boost credibility, but market authority comes from the accumulation of aligned signals across the entire ecosystem. And when those signals compound, prospects see you more often, they trust you sooner. Google has more reason to understand and recommend your agency. And that's when people start telling you my favorite line, I see you everywhere. That's what you want to hear over and over again. Here's the recap of the AI Authority Blueprint. Again, you may want to take a screenshot of this. Rebuild content around prospect decisions, not keywords. Turn video into an authority asset. Make reviews stronger and more AI readable. Build entity consistency across the footprint. Prepare the website for AI agents and humans both. Update your page search around intent and AI-driven campaigns. Install a 90-day authority build plan. And the important point is that these moves all work together. None of them should be living in isolation. None of them are a one-trick pony or a magic bullet. They are all parts of an interconnected system that are designed to build visibility, trust, and market position, market dominance. So the real issue here is we are not chasing Google's algorithm. That's too small of a framework. This is all about building the kind of business footprint that Google can easily understand, that any AI platform can trust and understand, and that prospects can believe and feel confident in. And that's the future of local visibility. The agencies that are going to win in the days ahead are not simply going to be the ones that do more marketing. They are going to be the ones that build clearer, stronger, more consistent authority systems. And that's the difference between being a vendor-driven activity and a strategic growth partnership. You can't operate in silo-based marketing systems anymore. Everything has to work holistically in an ecosystem. And so right now there is a window open because many insurance agents are still operating from an old playbook. They're thinking in terms of ranking and occasional posting and lead volume and generic ads, and they're operating in a silo mentality. And so the agents who move now have a real opportunity to build authority before the market even catches up. And so that window is not going to stay open forever. Once competitors understand the shift and they start building stronger signals, catching up is going to become harder. And so early action matters because authority is going to compound over time. And so the fact that you're here, the fact that you're watching this webinar, you are ahead of the game. And so I want to applaud you for taking the time to jump ahead of your competition. And so here's the warning for you. The agents who ignore this shift are not going to feel it immediately. They are still going to get some calls. They're still going to get some referrals. They're still going to see some activity. But over time, it's going to become easier for their competition to overtake them because trust is going to erode. Things are going to get quieter because they are going to be less visible. They're simply just going to start to disappear. And so, if you would like us to take a look at where you stand right now, how does AI see you? Where is the opportunity for you to build the right foundation, to separate yourself, to get ahead of the game, to be the obvious choice in your market? What does it mean to have that ecosystem developed? We are here to be a growth partner for you. And so you have that window in front of you to build the foundation, create better content, show real proof, collect those stronger reviews, stand apart from the competition, and just be the obvious trusted choice in your market. And so I want to invite you, you can schedule an AI authority audit with us, agentbrandingandmarketing.com/schedule. We'll look at your website, your business profile, your review profile, your content, your paid search. How does AI see you currently? And we will just look at the big picture with you. You can schedule that online. You can also call us at 888-572-8758, and we'll have that conversation with you. That being said, don't wait until your leads slow down to take this seriously. Build your authority now, train Google now, strengthen your trust now, and become the most trusted agency in your market. And that is how you establish market dominance. Google is moving to agentic search. You're already seeing it. The new Google Chrome browser is going to have their Spark agent built into it. You can already play with it in their AI lab if you want to see how it works. And you will see that it eliminates much of the field. It is going to make two or three recommendations, and you are either one of those or you are not. And so you don't want to be eliminated from those recommendations. I'm going to open it up for Q&A. If you've got questions, you can put those in the chat. I'll be happy to answer those for you. And while you're doing that, I've got two other screenshots if you want to take those. There are a couple of checklists that might be helpful for you, and that'll give you a few moments to put questions in the chat while we wrap up. The first one is an AI authority checklist for insurance agents. And again, just screenshot that. And that's a checklist you can go through. Looks at your website. Does it clearly explain your coverage areas? Is your Google business profile complete and active? Do your coverage pages include real details and proof? Videos, do they demonstrate your expertise and process? Coverage line pages, do they include FAQs? Do your paid campaigns track qualified leads? Do you have a feedback loop built into that? Does your website clearly explain your market areas where you do business? Are your reviews recent, frequent, and specific? Does your content answer prospect decision questions? Is your business info consistent across every platform? Does your website have clear call to action on every page? Is your call tracking and form tracking installed everywhere that you have a phone number or form? And then the second one that you may want to screenshot is a 30-day starting point. This week, audit your Google business profile. Review your top 3 coverage line pages. Record one short agency video. Ask your last 5 happy clients for specific reviews. List the top 25 prospect questions your team hears. Check whether your business information is consistent across major platforms. And pick one coverage line page to improve first. Don't overcomplicate your first step. Start building your proof.